6.
Morning, John. Morning, everybody.
7,
Good morning.
Good morning.
9, 10, 11, 12.
Hey, everybody.
I'm having an issue because I had to log
13,
out of Remarket
and 13.
and I can't get to my computer to get my new passcode, so I can't collect my comments.
Wait, hold on one second. Why is hand raising off? Man, oh man. Okay, wait. How many do we have here so far?
It looks like you've counted to 12.
Yeah, and for some reason it just Clubhouse just turned it off automatically. Okay, there we go. Claudia and Sandra. There we go. Okay, we've got our 14.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good evening.
This is exciting. This is
Good evening, Claudia.
evening, Claudia.
Zach, is this the first time you've been with us during the actual watch? I feel like you're always in the after show.
Me?
John, you have one too many. Do you want me to drop down?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, no.
Yeah, could somebody drop down? I'm sorry.
Hey, John, I can actually drop down because I don't know if I'll be able
Oh,
to
yeah, that's
for
right.
the entire time.
You're doing the kayaking.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't talk in the post show, have a great day today.
Thank you.
And I'll see you
Thanks,
tonight,
everybody.
or
Yep.
hear you tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have fun,
So you can drop me down.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
Have fun.
Have fun. This is my first time on the couch.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Sandra. Nice to have you here.
This is exciting. I've never actually gotten up here before.
By the way, Clubhouse seems to be really having some fun this morning. It's the platform is clearly hemorrhaging.
All right. I do not see previously on so far. Just to let you know.
Somebody asked about kernel harvesting. What was that?
Yeah, I had to log out to reset it, and you need a passcode to get in. And I need to go to my computer to do that, and I can't do that right now, so I won't be able to get my kernel.
I'm sorry. There's nothing I can really do about that. You don't have email on your phone?
I don't have a phone. It's an iPad, and I don't remember how to get into my email.
Really? Oh no.
It's all saved to my computer.
Okay. I'm trying to think what's a solution for that. I can't think of a solution, to be honest.
Is it Sabrina who's doing this thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tip you whatever I get from my kernel. No, don't do that. But thank you. It's okay. We're all in this together. Don't do it.
We are family. I'm sure that you'll see some goodwill today, Sabrina. So how's everybody feeling about Marathon Weekend Day 2? Are these episodes awesome?
I can't wait for seeing them all. These are such good episodes today.
I'm so excited that we're getting through so many at a time because I'm so excited for the end episodes of this season.
I have to say, I get it. I get why people watch these, like binge them like several in a day, or keep it on in the background. There's something fun about just going right into the other. It was definitely an experience yesterday, that's for sure.
I kind of still have that Gilmore Girls high from yesterday, and just kind of like looking to, keep chasing the dragon.
They were all just such great episodes.
I forgot how good season 4 was. I'll be honest about that. I really forgot.
Yeah, no, I was hearing people saying that they loved season 3 best. There are some people who said that. I think even Keiko said that season 3 is her favorite. Like, I don't get it. Season 4, in my opinion, just like crushes all of the other seasons so far.
Season 1 and 2 are my least favorite, and then 3 through like 7 get like a lot better for me.
Yeah, 4 and 5 are my favorites.
I mean, 1 and 2 are obviously amazing because you get to know all the characters, but like everything is so like, I guess juvenile. Like everyone's really young and everything is trying to grow. But then you get to season 3 and everything starts to become like really like well formed and everything.
4 was kind of hard for me because I was kind of used to like Chilton Rory, and then we had like Yale Rory. But going back and like having watched it a couple times, it's interesting to see her grow as a person because she was off to college. She did distance herself from previous romantic interests, and it was just kind of, you know, all around good.
I didn't really, like, personally, my high school years are not like super memorable for me. There were some things about them that I really like, but in general, you know, before I went to college, my Miami years, we'll call them, they just didn't compare to my college years. I just loved my time in Chicago, and so season 4 to me feels like that. I feel that much of a shift, you know, in my excitement about the world of the show. All of the Yale stuff is just like, I'm just loving it, absolutely loving it.
I started to watch it while I was in university, and I felt that like my time, so I always loved the Yale episodes much more than the Chilton episodes.
Yeah, that might be why I like it so much too. I started in my freshman year of college watching it.
Yeah. All right. We're diving in. We're going into marathon weekend. It's starting now. Hey everyone. To all who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Remarkist. We're a community of folks who like to watch our favorite television shows together virtually, but as if we're in the same room, gathered around the same television with a big pot of coffee that we are passing around the coffee table. The first show that we are watching together is Gilmore Girls, a show that I was an actor on, but I never actually watched. And so that's what I'm doing now, watching with fans. We're past the midpoint of this entire series watch, which has been really, really exciting. Those who arrive early can grab a seat on what we call the couch. That's this area up top here with 15 of us that have little microphones next to our avatars. That means that we can chat during the episode, and we do. Sort of like we're creating a social DVD style commentary track rather than actors and writers and directors doing that. It's fans of the show, which, you know, often fans know a lot more about the people who actually created it. So that's really cool. There are no real rules to how much or how little we chat. We can chat whenever we feel the urge, same as if we were casually watching together in person. However, we do hit our sweet spot when we keep our remarks to what is happening in the episode. We try our best to squeeze those remarks into the air between dialogues that we can still follow what's going on in the actual show. And when we have longer thoughts or we want to have a conversation, we save those for after the show because we're going to stick around for about 45 minutes afterwards to chat about what we saw. Today, it's going to be 3 episodes back to back, but we are going to stop 45 minutes between the first 2, and then we'll have 45 minutes afterwards. We always avoid talking about future episodes so that we don't spoil for anybody who hasn't seen it, like myself. We keep the volume of our TVs low so that when we do speak, others can't hear our episode in the background. I like to use headphones on my television. You can't hear anything from me. And when we aren't speaking, we keep our mics muted to reduce background noise. All of these sessions are being recorded and are being archived on a YouTube channel currently. Anybody who wants that link can just talk to pretty much any community member. They'll give it to you. Very soon they will be on the Remarkist app. If you don't feel comfortable being recorded or having your recorded remarks available to the public, then just don't come up onto the couch or don't speak. Pretty simple. We sometimes have snags. If you lose your internet or you or get knocked out of the room, just come back in. You'll still be on the couch as you were before. If your episode cuts off and you need to figure out where we are in the episode, there's an easy way to do that. You can get our Remarkist app at remarkist.com. You're going to need to sign up for an account for this. Once you do, you go into the event calendar, then into the screen for this particular event, where you will see a time code for where we are in the episode. And I should also say, for those of you joining us for the first time, this app's got a lot of other fun things that we're adding. We've been talking about kernels. That's our in-game currency. We're dropping collectibles that will be redeemable for prizes and will unlock special events, both special digital events as well as physical events. We're doing a lot of fun things in the app, so I really encourage any of you who want to really experience the full Remarkist experience that you do download that app or get that app at remarkist.com and sign up for an account. However, if you don't want to have another social account, that's totally fine. You may also need that time code though. You can find that also at my Instagram account. I have an Instagram live playing with that time code. It's about 10 seconds off, so it's not as ideal as going through the app, but it'll get you close enough. You can find my Instagram by just tapping my avatar here in Clubhouse, opening up my full profile. You'll see my Instagram link there. We always skip ahead past previously on so that we start at the beginning of the actual episode. There is no previously on in this episode, nor not on Netflix, nor on the DVD. So it's a moot point, but good to know for future.
There's one on the next episode though. So
okay. All right, I'm prepared. I am starting the recorder. We are officially recording. And I am going into the Remarkist app so I can get that time code going that I just mentioned. And the folks who have been here before know what we're about to do. If you're new, grab your remote, have your thumb ready to press that play button. We're going to all press it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Down.
Man, I hope that we won't lose Tom before the end of our season watch and we don't get Biff on here, because he definitely said he wanted to join us. He joined Clubhouse, he joined Remarkist, but that was the last I heard from him. Anybody happens to see Biff enter the room one day, please let me know.
I think Biff usually needs a little bit of help with technical stuff, as he said in the past. So perhaps you need to contact him and tell him like.
I did. I've contacted him twice. I haven't heard anything. But like I said, I mean, the thing that impressed me was like he got on Clubhouse immediately. He signed up for Remarkist. Like he seemed to do everything that he needed to be totally ready. And then it was like crickets.
Maybe he just needs to be told an episode that he's in when we get to it.
He was. It was just the opposite of everybody else, you know, was like committed, but like literally at the last minute, I'm like trying to explain how to get on the Clubhouse.
See, I feel like the wrapper is the best size. You can actually like frame it.
Agreed. I thought it was really cute actually because they could frame it. I think we're all tired this morning.
Are there two female voices singing this song?
Yeah, Carol King and her daughter, Louise.
Aha.
Is that the first time you've noticed that, John?
Yup.
Me too. I probably sort of figured that it was like a double vocal or something, or like
Sometimes when I'm really tired, I
Yeah.
notice things.
Yeah, they re-recorded this version just for the show.
I'm actually rested, guys. I can't stay up late anymore.
Hey, we got some Dean coming our way.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And sometimes.
Oh,
I
John.
was hoping you'd be surprised.
Marion Ross.
That's some Marion Ross coming our way.
Mama Lane.
Also, just, coming from Miami, I went from Miami to Chicago for university, and so that was my first introduction to big coats. I never had big coats, so that's another thing. Just seeing the big coats in Yale, it's just, I love it.
My husband sometimes gets like ton of there.
This one's written by both Paladinos, it said.
This one was directed by Steve Clancy. He was one of the camera operators on the show for many years, and then they started giving him episodes to direct.
Very cool.
This is a new
How long
hairstyle for Paris, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long has Paris' hair been?
Oh yeah, definitely. She had the bump at last episode, or last time we saw her.
She's looking very much like Rory in the hair department.
I will say it's not my favorite Paris hair.
Living with Paris must be a nightmare.
Well, they are portraying having to live with people you can't get along with well.
I'm thankfully that you don't need to live with other people in Germany if you study at university. That's something I always wondered if that's true, and I asked all my friends.
One of my neighbors went to a school where you had to live on campus your freshman year and everybody had to share rooms, and I think it was the school's way of socializing them.
Yeah, it never happens in Germany at all. Never.
It was obligatory. Like, you had no choice.
Yeah, I guess. That's what he said.
Wow.
I don't think that this whole Asher thing is going to end well for Paris. I think it's going to be very heartbreaking for her. That's my prediction.
Regina, make note.
That's the
And Mary. Regina makes notes too.
John, you're anti-Asher because you feel like he knows better and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the power differential. Personally, man, for somebody who really digs the Digger style apartment, I mean, she sure has a lot of fruits hanging on her, like ceramic fruits hanging on her wall.
Poor Glenn.
Love that line.
This Glenn character.
I absolutely love Glenn. He's
I
one of my
love this
favorite
Glenn
characters.
character. I've seen that guy around, like at Gilmore parties and all, and just never knew what he was, who he was. Like, love him.
Girl, hang up.
Right.
Oh, but he's so adorable now with his hair, and he's like not with her, so I like him better.
He's being very considerate.
Dude, he's being awesome.
Very
Yes.
considerate.
They're better as friends, as I've said.
I had the
Amazing.
feeling he just needed a reason to call her, so I'm not sure if it's really only considerate.
But hey, we can call him.
Times changed so much. I had no phone before I started university at all, so it's like, oh yeah, that was a time not everybody had one.
I didn't even get a cell phone until my boys were born. How much should I say? They're only 13.
I will admit, John, that was a good conversation, even though I'm not a huge game fan.
A lot of candles.
You mean fire hazard?
It is
Nice.
okay. It is okay to end a sentence with a preposition.
The days before the auto pen forged my signature.
I can't even imagine those two kissing, and I just saw it.
she can't even be in bed. She has to get dressed. She's talking to her mother.
I like these two together so much.
Me too.
Say what you want about Emily, but that whole matriarchal thing really has organized and put the family together for the most part. It's dictatorship, but still.
I mean, this is cool. We're actually are we actually like we're watching this set be built, I guess. Like somebody asked before, like whether the dragonfly was really being built, and like now I'm starting to think, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you yesterday, if you thought that they were shooting on the set they were building to replicate the construction.
That's really interesting. I mean, it's cool. Like Ooh. I know how she could fix this.
Don't go there.
I have a feeling I don't have to go there.
Love the whistle line.
That's a funny line.
Tom is a wonderful character. How he told them is so nice.
I do love Tom. I love Tom too. He's great. And Biff is great.
Yeah, I sometimes feel like Biff is Tom or Tom is Biff. Or,
I have to say, I love Suki's outfit and coat. I want it so badly.
Yeah, ever since she had the kid, ever since she had the baby, she's just been looking glamorous,
Yeah, ironically.
right?
It's interesting. Did you hear where she said he's our friend and so she said he's more than that? What do you think she means by that?
Gosh, that dude is humongous, and Liza looks really tiny next to him.
I mean, that actor is a very large man.
Brogdonania. I have to look that up, and I love that word.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
Yikes.
I feel a fencing match coming.
That's a lie. She told her mom to.
The actor who plays Janet's boyfriend, Aaron Hill, is 6'3", and Liza's 5'4". Thank you, Sherry, for the information.
That 6'3" is pretty tall, but it's not as tall as it looks on camera. But I guess it's the actresses are all smaller than I.
He's still shorter than Dean, though.
Yeah, Dean. Yeah, Jared is tall, very tall.
He's probably an extra inch with some thick shoes as well. Still so.
But Janet looks really tall. But I guess she isn't as tall.
So sorry.
Feel a little sorry for Rory to have to tell her now.
I see an apartment coming soon.
Apartment? What? Oh,
She can't afford an apartment by herself.
No, no spoilers.
She would need roommates. She would have to have some roommates.
Yes, she would. And where would she find such roommates?
We're not supposed to discuss future episodes.
I love that little House of Cheese reference. I feel like that needs to be something in the fandom. Like a picture of a big chunk of cheese with like Rory and Lane's heads sticking out of different holes from it. Maybe like children versions of them. That's fun.
Yeah, parents, don't do that.
It happens all the time. It's so funny.
John, did you do that with your answering machine?
But me, like now?
You had a new baby.
Yeah, but answering machines haven't existed for like almost
Oh my
20
God,
years.
I totally have one. And I don't have a cell phone.
But I have an answering machine. I just disconnected my home phone like last week. I never remembered to check it though. I'll be honest about that.
I don't check mine either, even though it's blinking at me.
That's Lauren's stand-in.
That's cute.
Yeah,
You're right. I never noticed.
I mean, there are just so many folks on the show that were there for just many, many years. Stand-ins are usually like aspiring actors as well, and they just always look for ways to get them into the episodes if they could. It was cool. That's why that stand-in Jason, we've seen him a few times, and he got some speaking roles.
I love how they're supposed to represent Lorelai's hair as bad here, but I actually love this look on her.
Really?
Yeah, this is probably like the most natural look.
Is it the wet look or because it's also curly?
I was gonna say it looks just kind of a little wet.
It's a
Well,
curly
yeah,
look.
she didn't get her hair done, but it's not bad.
I'm not a
This
fan.
part bothers me in the show a little bit.
Mhm. We'll have to talk about this hair afterwards.
when Sissy before was mad at Lorelai for wanting to change her mind about doing me, and she was like, "You're my partner. We're supposed to do it together," and now she's totally like flipped.
Yeah, I don't like Suki in that moment. It's not really good. You shouldn't do something to your partner if you start a business together, even if you have a baby. And she could have carried the baby with her to sing.
She also knew she was pregnant before they actually opened the inn or started with the inn before they got the loan. Or put down the payments. I mean, I'm tired.
I like this hair.
Really?
Definitely more than the other hair.
Look, she doesn't get an apartment.
I got your reference now, Steph.
I love that hat.
She called her Mrs. Kim. That's horrible.
Where's
The feeling of her like running into her mom there on the street felt similar to me as the feeling of Rory like seeing Jess for the first time.
Oh, absolutely.
I think their socks was like showing I care about you, even if you moved out.
Gilmore, Gilbert, Gil.
Hey. Oh, never mind. I was going to spoil something.
That's so overstepping.
Really?
To look up a student's schedule when like there's one of your classes, yeah. I think that shows he cares, and that's like what you should do as a professor. I think it's really good. He's doing that.
Well, you're a teacher, Mary, so I can't. You're speaking from experience. I'm not, but it seems perfectly reasonable to me.
I think he saw something is wrong and was searching for a solution. That's why he looked it up.
I mean, it's good to see educators, caring about the students rather than just collecting a paycheck.
He's awfully cold though.
Yeah, I had some meetings with professors like that were just super demoralizing. I mean, thinking back on it now, I don't think that the professor was trying to be demoralizing, but
I thought it fits.
That coldness is very common.
I thought it fits to giving business boring lectures for me. So I thought it's just like how he probably is, his character.
Did you see Trix already commented on the hair, John?
I mean, this version of that hair doesn't bother me that much. This is nice. It was the wet poodle look that I didn't like. That was funny. God, Marianne Ross is so awesome.
My husband is such a big fan of her. Every time, every episode she's in, he's like laughing all the time. He loves her so much.
Gosh, I don't want her to leave for the whole series. I want her to be in A Year in the Life. Everything okay, Mary?
I'm so sorry. I was thinking of the mustache. I didn't realize I was off mute.
That's really funny.
that mustache is definitely siable.
Sorry.
I agree. The mustache is not one of my favorite Richard looks at all.
Oh my gosh. I thought you guys were talking about Jason, and I did notice Richards, and I was like, yikes.
Gosh, I love it so much.
This is hilarious.
Her face expressions are amazing.
I don't know. I think she's rude.
Oh yeah, she's very rude.
I think nobody of us wants to have her in our life at all.
I mean, Trix puts Emily to shame with her control, and it's delightful.
Could we imagine Trix and Paris just sat in a room for an hour together?
Oh my god, that would be funny. I think they get along pretty well.
Just lock them in.
I think they would fit together, and yeah.
Trix and who?
Paris.
What about Trix and Kirk in a room together?
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Kirk would start crying after 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Kirk would not be able to handle Grant at all. Yeah, he would definitely cry.
all the angles are wrong again. It drives me crazy. I know it's camera, but it drives me crazy how the flowers are in the middle, but then on one side, then on the other.
Yeah, the spacing keeps going back and forth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm dipping out for the next little bit of the show because I have to go take care of my dogs, but I will be back in time for the next one.
Okay.
Richard looks like a small boy. Mother.
Emily.
Emily is enjoying it.
Emily says she's my She's so happy right now. It's great.
The acting is so good in that scene.
Oh,
I love Richard
that scene
standing up.
was amazing.
I think just that scene also goes to show how, like, so much of a love person like Lori is of the family, because didn't Trix like want to give her money back in the previous season or something like that? I could be remembering totally wrong.
Yeah, she wanted to set up a trust fund for Rory.
Right.
More facial hair.
Dean is just looking fantastic these days.
He does look very good. I won't lie. I won't deny that.
He just looks like he should be off slaying some monsters, you know?
I love how he's so caring to sit with her and know that she's spinning out of control.
Supernatural is about 3 years away from this season. Since 2003, I think.
Agreed with Dean. It's not a big deal.
Oh. Oh.
He is being a good friend to her. That's really nice to see.
They've been
Yeah.
Yes,
understanding.
Dean is a really nice person in general.
haircut or just date look, I guess. Classic Lorelais idiosyncrasies. They're really growing on me.
Parallel storylines again.
Love the parallel of this scene. It's just great.
I love and hate it at the same time because it's not her boyfriend, not Rory, not Lorelai. Yeah, it's a mixture of I love it and I hate it.
I didn't even see it till you said it. So awesome.
Up to this point, have we seen them together at all, or have they just been playing phone tag?
No, they've been playing phone tag the full episode.
So yeah, I really want. I'm so eager to talk about this, and now like sort of recognizing the parallel between this and the last scene, and knowing what we know about Lorelai and Luke and the feelings that are clearly there between them, and what that must say about the previous scene. Whew. A lot to talk about.
Luke and Dean are both married as well.
Oh, Emma, Colonel's coming your way.
That was Sherry.
Did you forget
not
that?
me. Sherry pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's smart. I never realized that."
How could you forget?
So give them to Sherry, not me. It's okay. She deserves them. She pointed it out to me. So thank you, Sherry, for that.
That episode was real good. Wow.
Gosh, man, Lorelai got me tearing up, dude. That was
Oof.
rough.
All right, we're opening up the couch. We're opening up the couch.
We all know a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say about that.
Couch is officially open.
John, I know you're Team Digger, but what's your
I'm not-
interpretation?
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
Team Digger. I'm not Team Digger. I said Digger's growing on me.
Why do you think she went to Luke instead of Digger?
Oh,
It's Luke?
because it's
Why? Because
Luke.
one of them is nicer and safer and more smooth.
Yeah, because I mean I think that I don't think that she has feelings for Digger.
And she
I
knows
would
Luke. Never want to ask Digger for money. Ever.
I think that she
also
really
affects
likes
Suki.
Digger's apartment. I think she just likes Digger's apartment.
I think Luke was a friend, asked a friend,
She's
not
taken up
your-
with all the traffic.
and not your boyfriend. It's like I would always ask someone I'm friends with more than 10 years. It seems like someone I'm just together with. We don't know how long. It doesn't.
I think Lorelai just likes having Jason around because she knows that it could piss off her parents. And every girl, well, I speak for myself, but girls like pissing off their parents, especially when it comes to dating. And so Jason's the perfect example. He's not the bad boy, but
Is that true across the board, ladies?
Well, I wouldn't say
Do you like
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
I would rather not be with someone who's.
All right, wait.
All
Okay,
right.
sorry, I opened up
Damn
a can. I opened up a can of worms.
Let me see.
All right,
It's
wait.
just a childish mentality to just be a contrarian little, you know, book and
Wait. Okay. Tasha, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
That was my fault.
You're fine. It's not you. It's been told in movies, television, real life, because I mean, we're not Pleasantville here, that dating the bad boy or dating the boy, you know that it's gonna piss off your parents. It's usually the viable option. Like I can't remember what show where it says like that boy, you know that it's gonna piss off your parents is fun to date because it's basically, I don't know, like Jason, like I said, Jason's not the bad boy. He's just the guy that you know that it would drive her parents crazy. And so that's why she did it. I mean, like the whole reason why they started dating in the first place is when her parents, when Emily got mad at her at the tailgate party. And so that's the whole basis of their relationship.
For her, I guess I'm confused because I thought you said that was what every girl did, but now you're saying it's just Lorelai. So I'm just trying to like figure out.
I
Do you
didn't say
feel
every
that most girls or okay, all right.
I
Fair
think it's not smart to ask Jason because it's not just Lorelai's life that's being impacted here. I mean, it's Suki, and for all Lorelai knows, Jason may or may not be around a long time, but why would you ask somebody you're just dating for money when you have a longtime friend who's offered in the past? And Suki actually suggested him as well. So it wouldn't make sense for her to ask somebody like Jason over Luke.
Oh, I agree. I didn't think it makes sense at all. I was just like, she said she was desperate, and I was just more like an exploratory thing.
Well, I don't think that she could ask Jason. It just doesn't.
Too close to her world.
Yeah, and I think that she's so vulnerable about the idea of asking for money that the only person that she could really truly ask and like, I mean,
say yes.
Not only that, like I think the only person that she could ask and feel safe in her vulnerability is Luke, which we just saw. I mean, like, you know, I can't imagine her breaking down like that in front of her parents. I can't imagine her breaking down like that in front of Jason. I can only imagine her breaking down in front of like that in front of Rory, Luke, and maybe Suki. And of those three, there's only one of them that could actually give her $30,000, and that's Luke.
Claudia has been flashing.
Yeah, thanks. I think you don't ask someone you are like together for a second, and I think especially Lorelai wouldn't ask Jason because it would give him like a lot of power. Like, oh, you borrowed money from me, and she loves taking control. So it would be a really weird combination of him having more power, you know, like a little bit like Asher and Paris, but with money. So I think it's a good choice to not do it. And the whole breaking down for me is just, it was the day. And if she would have had a date in that evening with Jason, she would have broken down with him or whoever else she met with Suki or whoever. I don't think it's about looks, it's about the timing.
Really quickly, Hannah. Oh no, God, you're up on the couch. Sorry, I was trying to get you up here, Hannah, and it just wasn't allowing it. I was going to tell you to leave the room and come back in, but you're up.
Mandy has been flashing for a long time.
Mandy, and then we'll do Mandy and then Shauna, I think, unless somebody else. Oh, and Sean and
Sandra and Diana were flashing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do Mandy, then Sandra, then Diana, then Shauna.
Yeah, I 100% think that it would be a terrible idea to borrow money from your boyfriend because it's kind of like with Dean giving Rory the car. It kind of changes the power structure in that relationship, and you feel obligated to him. So, like, borrowing money from a friend is not the best option, but if that's all you have, it's a much better solution than your boyfriend. But going back to the girls dating guys to try to piss off their parents, my sisters did that. I think it depends on the relationship you have with your parents, but it definitely does happen.
I just wanted to say that
you know, Lorelai and Luke has had this sort of business consulting relationship for a really long time. You know, he said, or she went to him first when she was like, I'm thinking of opening the inn. That was season 2, episode 2, when she comes back from the road trip to Harvard. She asks him, and you know, he gives her advice like, oh, you know, like this one's on me, like, you know, write it off. It's a business deal or whatever, you know, like that type of stuff. So I feel like he's been in her life as a business owner consultant this entire time. So it makes absolute perfect sense, both for their friendship, but also that, you know, he's been helping her out kind of in the background, just giving her advice this whole time on opening her own business.
Very good point.
That also that she's the one, Luke would be one of the only people that wouldn't hold it over her head. Suki and Rory excluded, but if she went back to her parents, she'd end up having to have another night of dinner with them, and Emily didn't even ask, are you available to come have lunch with us because your grandmother's coming? It was, you're coming and this is the time I'm expecting you to be here, and basically drop everything to do it. So I kind of feel like that if she were to go back to her parents and say, I need $30,000 to finish my inn, whether or not she wanted to or not, they were going to come after her and have more demands on her and more things that she needed. And people were going to, she'd be obligated to people, where Luke was going to be like, hey, I'm your friend. I'm not going to make you do something that you clearly don't have time to work on.
I'm sorry.
That, by the way, that goes to, that sort of speaks to what I was talking about. You know, for me, it's less about business and it's more about the fact that Lorelai really has a hard time taking money from people. So she's in an extremely vulnerable position. She's doing everything in her power to not have to ask anybody, but she's at her like sort of wit's end with this whole thing. And so for me, it's a vulnerability thing. And there's only a very small number of people she can be that vulnerable with. And there's only one of them that has money.
I also think that Jason is an extension of her parents. So she would never go to him because she knows he's from that world, and it's like going to her parents. So whatever would stop her from going from that would stop her from going to Jason.
Yeah, Shauna.
Okay. So, okay. I know Emily is Emily, and she's gonna like hold things over Lorelai's head, possibly. But if she came to Emily exactly as she came to Luke, do you honestly think that Emily's gonna play the "I've got you" card?
No.
I mean,
yeah, I'll probably call her the next day and say,
you know, and don't forget, cut your
no.
hair.
I don't think she would do it at first, but as soon as she got mad, she would pull it out.
Yeah, that's what Lorelai's worried about. It's not that her mother wouldn't be in the moment, understanding and soft. We've seen that with Emily a lot. So Emily has the ability to go there. It's the fact that now that she's gone there, Lorelai has that tick against her forever. Emily will be able to bring that up anytime she wants, and probably will in other situations.
That's just like Trix, like out of nowhere. It's been how many years since Trix gave Richard money? Decades. Brought it up, right? But I also think that Lorelai is incapable of being that open with her mother. Like, she just could not do it when she's that emotionally wrong.
I think she's afraid of what's going to happen because Emily's put her below the belt too many times.
Oh, me and Trix should have some words.
Yeah. Jess, I saw you flashing a minute ago. Is there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually, something Claudia said prompted a thought. Claudia was saying that Lorelai likes to be in power and she likes to be in control. And I feel like this is a situation where maybe she asked for help a little bit too late. Maybe she should have asked Michelle and Suki to pull their weight a little bit earlier rather than, you know, taking it upon herself and putting all this stuff to the end. She kept on saying, oh, I meant to tell you about this or whatever.
So it seems like she's having trouble like asking for help. So I was actually really proud of her for just asking for help in general towards the end. And if I feel like this would also be a good chance to maybe pivot back to earlier in the episode where Suki and Lorelai were having that fight. I'm just curious, like, what people think, like, whose side are they on?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to talk about that. Let's talk about that now, but I don't want to forget about how that scene between Luke and Lorelai paralleled the scene right before, and all of the emotions and history and relationship and feelings that we know are all wrapped up in Luke and Lorelai, and how if we are doing a parallel comparison, how much of that is true for these two characters, for Rory and Dean. Let's simmer on that for just a bit, and then we'll come back to it after we've chatted a little bit about Lorelai and Suki. Who has some thoughts on that, on Lorelai and Suki?
You have Emma, Lily, Sandra are flashing, and somebody else was, but I still don't see them anymore.
Emma?
Yeah, I see Suki's side of it, obviously, because she's a new mom and she has so many things on her mind and taking care of Davy and, you know, just being a good mom. But I also definitely see Lorelai's side because she's, you know, she really needs help, you know, with Deanna and stuff. She can't do it all by herself, and Suki is her partner. And so I totally understand why she's upset with her, because I think I would be upset with my friend too if I was in a business with her and she said she was going to be at, you know, some of the meetings, and especially if she had said that she needed to be able to okay something in order for it to be completed, you know, and then she doesn't wind up showing up, and then the whatever sink had to be brought, you know, go back to Canada because they wouldn't leave it. Like, I would be really upset with her because she needed help, and she said, you can't leave the sink unless I okay it. So I would be really upset, even though I understand, you know, Suki's point of view. I would be really, really upset with her because she can't do it on her own, and this was the one thing that she needed done, and Suki was the only one who could do it. So I totally see Lorelai's point, but I also see Suki's as well. But I completely understand why Lorelai's upset.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard sort of what side, because instinctually I'm like, Lorelai. Suki said she had a responsibility, and Suki didn't show up, and then now Lorelai doesn't have time to do the things she needed to do, which are piling up, and she just has no time to do any of them. So instinctually, I'm like, Lorelai, Suki is responsible. But then you're like, but baby, you can't, the baby was not sleeping, the mom wasn't sleeping. It's like really hard to be like, whose side, because you want to take Lorelai's side, or I would say Lorelai's side, because now Lorelai has to stress over this even more because it wasn't even her responsibility. But then you can't totally fault Suki because Suki takes care of her child. Though I guess you could say that Suki could have like tried to arrange someone in the town to like take care of the baby at some point so that she could make appointments or something. But like she could have called like Babette or Patty, and I'm sure that they would have been like, yeah, sure, we'll help, and you guys take care of your inn or whatever. But it's a hard sort of whose side you say kind of question. But
I agree with what you're saying. I believe I was next after Lily. But it's the same point of view. I mean, I had my daughter and I still had a business that I had to run. And at the time, and I had like 3 days off, and I wasn't sleeping. My husband was working full time. But they knew there weren't that many people that could approve Suki's pieces. I mean, I feel like it was a little bit of a cop-out because Suki could have said, okay, I'll be at the inn and I've set 3 alarm clocks and Davey's going to come with me to the inn for an hour.
I think that, and the lineup, well, my job is afterwards, kind of felt like an F you, well, you take care of everything, even though I know you're going down. And it doesn't really matter because I'll be there at the end to help once the place is open.
Is there any of this, or does any of this, from Suki's perspective, is it possible that Lorelai, by nature, you know, and just the fact that, you know, she's been managing an inn for so long, and that just sort of managing projects it comes natural to her. Is there any part of this that could potentially be Lorelai taking on too much of her own, setting the tone for the relationship between them, and then kind of getting upset when Suki doesn't really understand that she needed to, you know, does that make sense? I'm somebody who does that. I'm personally
I do
Absolutely.
that.
yeah, I'm the type of person who like kind of wants to do it all, and then I start to complain when I'm overloaded and start to throw blame at my partners, when in fact I set the tone for the working relationship by taking on a great deal more than I probably should have from the get-go.
But I mean,
do that all the time.
I think that's the problem with Suki, is Suki has set this idea that anything in the kitchen is mine. Like, it's a sink. It's a sink that you've ordered from Canada. So supposedly you've looked at it and know this is the sink you want. Why do you need to approve it when it arrives?
Is it a sink or is it a stove? They refer to the stove
sink.
and the sink. But
Yeah,
they talk about the stove
Delivered
too.
later. But
But
this time it
but
was the sink.
you have to make sure it's not dented and busted, and that it's going to fit your needs. When anything gets delivered, you absolutely have to check. But I don't know if
But
she needed
anyone can
Suki
check
to
that.
do it.
So
Right.
I think that's Suki, like what John was just saying, it's both Lorelai and Suki.
Yeah,
Suki
in this
has
case,
absolutely set up that anything in the kitchen is hers.
Right,
So
right,
if
right, right.
Lorelai wanted to, she wouldn't be able to take it over.
yeah,
Right.
she had said that she wanted to do it. By the way, John, you had Tanya and Jen and Tasha and Sarah on question.
All right, let's do Tanya next.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I was going to say it's a lot of these people's sides, but it's a lot of like going through so much, like trying to open the business, raising her daughter, having money problems, and you can see that she feels completely alone, has no support. And for Suki, she's been a new mom, she's tired, you can see both sides. I agree. And Sophie don't touch anything in her kitchen because that's her territory. You're not touching anything. So I absolutely can see both sides. And also Lorelai, that she was very overwhelmed in this episode. Like everything was going on. She was, like I said, she's opening a new business, money problems, missing Rory. Then her mom called, her grandma saw me. You have to do this and you need to be here. And it was
Jen, did you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I think Suki probably just didn't realize she was going to be so overwhelmed and so tired, and little slip-ups were going to be every single day because of the fatigue. So I kind of feel bad for her too, but I wish she would have reached out and asked for more help, and more responsibilities were given out, like signing for the equipment or anything to the inn, like, hey, I'm busy, or I'm gonna have to drag my baby up there looking like a mess, you know. But she should have, I think, communicated a little better. Just Lorelai is doing everything, and she's struggling and asking for help. And Cookie should have asked maybe for some more help, I think.
When is Lorelai asking for help?
There's a bunch of people that have the mics on, and I'm hearing a lot of feedback.
Yeah, if you just remember, folks, if you're not speaking, Sabrina, I think that's you. If you're not speaking, make sure to keep your mics muted, just because background noise. And then somebody also had a really great tip the other day. I can't remember who. That you always know that you've got feedback if your own avatar, if the little ring is going and you're not speaking.
I'm so sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted.
No problem.
So, I just actually asked my grandma, who has 4 kids, what she thinks about this situation. I said, if you were in a business and had your kid, and she basically said, well, it's your responsibility, and if you need to make sure that you're responsible for your child and for your business. So that's her
To build
take
on
on
what
it.
was being said, I think that being a new mom, I don't think Suki actually realized how much help she needs. I think Suki in her head is still what she was before the baby arrived, and it's a brand new experience for her. So she really did not recognize that there could be the sleepless night where she can't get up and do what she needs. So I can't fault her for that. What I fault her for is you had a sleepless night. You pick up the phone and say, I'm not gonna make it. That's the only thing. Like I don't blame her for not being able to make it. But somewhere it's the whole thing about the sync went out of her head, and that was important. That's what bothers me.
Agreed. We have to go in order.
Who's next after Jen?
You had
It was
Tasha and Sarah were next, and then I didn't see if anybody. So you had Tasha, Sarah, Claudia.
Tasha. Why don't you chime in on this?
Awesome. Can I chime in on this and make a comment about the whole Rory and Dean, because I never actually got to.
Well, we didn't actually get there.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
But then I do when we come
Well,
to that.
when we get there, don't worry. You'll have a chance to speak.
Awesome.
I just want to close out this before we go.
Totally.
We've still got another 15 or actually 16 or 17 minutes.
Oh yeah, remind us when we need a harvest, because
In 2 minutes. In 2
Okay.
minutes. In 2 minutes, you can start harvesting. You know, I would ask everyone, if you're gonna harvest, like maybe not like all slam it at 9:15. Like maybe wait a minute. You do have 30 minutes.
Okay, awesome. So about my take on this is that, and this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm completely on Lorelai's side of this. Like, she told Suki, well, actually, no, Suki said that I have to be there. I have very specific sync needs, and so no one else is going to be there. And Lorelai said specifically that I have meetings back to back. One is in Hartford. I can't make it. And Suki took it upon herself saying, like, yeah, I'll be there. And yeah, like, you're a new mother, but like that's really no excuse. Like someone else said, she could have said, hey, like, I can't make it. I'll pay the shipping fee for it to come back, blah, blah, blah. But like, Lorelai can't do it all by herself. Yeah, she put a lot of it on herself. That's because no one else has picked up the slack. And so her having it all on herself, it's not really her fault. It's everyone else's fault that they're not picking up slack. And when Suki made a comment, it's like, what about Michelle? It's like, dude, like, Michelle has a job. Like, he wanted to make sure that he had money coming in, and so he took a job, and so he's not always going to be available for things like this. And so with Lorelai snapping at her at Suki's house, like, she's totally justified because she was at her wit's end. And Suki kind of piggybacking off of what someone said about Suki saying, like, my part comes later. It's like, yeah, your part comes later, but at the same time, this wasn't just Lorelai's dream of opening an inn. It was both of yours, and making decisions with a business partner is important, and that's why you have a business partner. If you're not good at making decisions, that's why you have someone to bounce those decisions off. And so I get Suki's a new mother, but it's like, dude, like, this is your dream. Not saying that she should put her dream before her child, but sometimes you gotta make a balanced decision.
Yeah,
I think she brought up some good points.
Sarah.
Yeah, well, first of all, I agree with everything Tasha just said, and then going off of what Mary and Tasha were saying, in that situation between Lorelai and Suki, I understand Suki's point of view, but I also think she reacted badly, or she could have reacted better. I think she could have been more understanding of Lorelai's situation once she realized what had happened. And then regarding your question, John, whether Lorelai is taking too much on herself, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's the case, especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've seen Lorelai reach out to Suki about this particular thing in another episode where they had the fight, and Lorelai said, I can't do everything on my own, I need you. And I don't think that was ever resolved. It just went away, but the same situation represents itself again in this episode. So
yeah, I know. I do remember that. Here's the only counter to it is that it's true, like, you know, it's not so much does she ask for help, it's more that, like, when one person in a partnership takes on way more than the other one, that sets a tone that can sometimes cause the one who is lighter on duties to sort of perceive the one who has, like, the heavier duties as sort of the person who's, like, kind of keeping everything up in the air. And then the person with the heavier duties, like, of course, is the first to get overwhelmed and get frustrated and then say things like, I can't do everything on my own, when it seems as though they are anyway. Like, even if Lorelai, you know, even if Suki was keeping up all of her end of the bargain, it seems like it's unbalanced anyway. And so that's more my point, less about whether or not Suki is holding up her end of the deal, and more the perception when one person is sort of taking on much more. And Lorelai strikes me as the type of person who would take on much more. She seems like the type of person who is very picky about the way things should be. I think she gets that from her mother, and because of it, feels like she needs to be in control of most of it. And I think that that's a dangerous, just speaking from experience, that can be a dangerous way to work with somebody else that's supposed to be your equal partner in it, and it can cause confusion.
For me, the whole Suki and Lorelai thing is so annoying, because I think we talked about it a lot. Suki looks really relaxed and charming, and she looks with a new haircut and everything, and Lorelai looks totally exhausted. So I think if you're, like, being friends for a long time, you can see your friend is struggling. You can see it so much. So being annoyed that she's, like, really upset that Suki didn't show up shows something is wrong in their relationship. And that's why I think, is it really a good thing? Suki didn't even know they're running out of money, and that's something a partner should know. So the whole thing is showing me Suki is not as invested as Lorelai is, and that's just not fair for me.
Well, wait a second. That's I think that also kind of speaks to what I was talking about. How would Suki have known that she was running out of money? That's something that Lorelai has been keeping from her.
Exactly. Yeah, but they should talk about it. If they would have, like, meetings every, I don't know, week and talk about it. But Suki isn't interested in it at all. I would ask about it, like, how it is, and she's like, oh, and yeah, it's a weird dynamic. I think it's really weird.
I mean, Laura, I don't know. This was my perception. Lorelai, it felt to me like she wanted to control that, like the whole money situation, and that actually she was doing her best to keep it from Suki. In fact, I felt like had that scene with Tom not have happened, Suki might not have found out about that. Not because of the fact that they weren't having the meetings that Lorelai wanted, but because Lorelai wouldn't have told her. And that to me is control. That feels controlling.
Lorelai was also trying to keep it from Suki because Suki had so much on her plate with the new baby.
She's a little neurotic too.
Maybe.
I think that Suki asked for that, though. And the
I
last
think
time,
Lorelai plays the same dynamic as the old Inn. Suki was her employee. Yeah, in the last time they had a fight, Suki said, "You take care of the business, and I'll take care of the kitchen."
Yeah, yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
even part of the kitchen.
Wendy, Mandy, and T have been flashing for a while.
I'm sorry. Who
oh,
was
sorry.
who was next? Zach?
Oh, I don't know who's next, but I know Wendy, Mandy, and T have been flashing for a while.
Wendy. Why don't we go Wendy and then T and then Mandy?
It's a good point that the stove is, part of the kitchen, so obviously that's part of Suki's deal, but I know that a lot of times when someone has a personality like Lorelai, which I can relate to, the other half, I'll give my daughter as an example, will get like, I can't take hints. You need to come out and tell me what is going on, because you're always, and this is what I do, I take everything on and then I explode at the end. And then I'm told, well, I can't take hints. I didn't know what was going on, and you're taking all this stuff on, and I don't have ESP. And I really think that's just what the dynamic was there. And she had her own thing, with the baby. And unless you're like, hey, we're doing this, some people just don't see it.
Yeah. T.
I don't have anything profound to say, but I just wanted to shout out some kudos to you, John, because you said something that was really profound, at least to me, when you were speaking and kind of reflecting. You said that when she was at her lowest point and she felt like she couldn't do it anymore, and she was like feeling so down about herself, that she was actually inadvertently actually doing it, and she didn't even realize that she was doing it. And that's something that often people don't realize. And I just, I don't know, it just kind of struck me, because I know personally I felt like that sometimes in life, where I'm like, oh my gosh, the whole world is on my shoulders, like how much more can I take right now? But like, you're doing it. So thank you.
Oh, welcome. I was a little worried at first. I was like, oh, what did I say? Mandy, we only have about 6 more minutes, and I do want to pivot over to Dean and Rory for this last portion of it, because I think that there is something to talk about there. I don't want to start too late on our next one, but so why don't we end it here with Mandy?
I'll make it quick, just on the Lorelai keeping the financial side of the business from Suki. That may be true, but at the same time, when Suki was ordering her stove and her sink and all of these expensive kitchen equipment, it was kind of like, it would have been smart for her to look at the budget and to work that into the budget. Like, is she just trying, like, spending money without knowing what their budget situation is? I think that falls on Suki just the same as it does Lorelai. Lorelai shouldn't keep their money troubles from Suki, but Suki should be asking, can I see the budget before I order a sink from Canada or a stove from Italy?
Fran?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just also think that it sort of plays back to this, like, Lorelai has sort of set some of that tone, and they had the discussion that you're the business person, and that feels like kind of moves into business a bit, like, wanting to know budgets and whatnot. That's just how I feel personally. But let's pivot over to Dean and Rory, and I'll just start off by sort of putting out there what I said before we shifted over to the Suki Lorelai thing, which is, how much can we parallel these two? If there is a parallel there was a lot of parallel, right? Like, two good friends, tears, holding the other one. But I would say that most of us are rooting for Luke and Lorelai to get together and understand that there's something much deeper there between them, than just their friendship. Even if they haven't seen it yet, figured it out yet, can we assume that the same applies to Dean and Rory? I mean, I understand that we've got, the Rory teams going on, but it's something that I thought of, and not necessarily because I'm a team Dean, just because as soon as I sort of realized how much of a parallel there were between them, two married men, both of them have feelings for the other one, you know, tears, all of that stuff, except that we know that Lorelai likely has feelings for Luke that she is not really coming to terms with. Can we say the same about Rory?
Can I
Who wants
start?
to go? Yeah.
Can I start? Okay, so
But just be mindful, we only have a few minutes, Tasha.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
so,
no,
just,
I mean my
so
own
make it,
comment about
try
it.
and make it as quick as you can.
Oh yeah. So I was actually watching this scene the other day on YouTube because there's a whole playlist of each and every Rory Dean scene in the entire series. And someone made a comment saying that Dean shouldn't have been there for Rory and Rory should have gone to someone else and her problem. And I said, regardless of what team you're on, and this is coming from a 100% Team Jess person, you have to admit that this is one of the sweetest scenes between Dean and Rory. Someone below said that Dean always knew Rory the best, and I don't think he knew her the best per se. I just think he knew how to console her the best. And I'm not sure why people think, this is my comment, I'm not sure why people think that Dean shouldn't have been there for her and should have gone to someone else to help with Rory's issues. But that they were friends, and at this point, I feel like that's what friends are for. They're there to pick you up when you're down, console you, and listen to your issues. And I mean, I can't say what else I said.
And they're
that
there
would
for
spoil
good,
it.
they're also there for good times and for bad times, and they'll
Exactly.
be forevermore.
And so this was probably the best scene between them. And coming from a complete Jess person, I think Dean was totally right to be there for her because no one else would have. And Rory just needed someone to vent to and cry to. And sometimes you just need that regardless of who it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just talking narratively, like, you know, that was something that was deliberate in the writing to parallel those two. And we know, and we do know, I mean, I know, I feel it, that Lorelai has feelings for Luke. And so I'm wondering, can the same apply there for Rory? Who was next after Tasha? Does anybody remember? Diana. I'm gonna go Diana, Regina, Patty.
And Shari was also flashing my roses.
I was just gonna say really quickly, watching this scene or these two scenes back to back, as an older person than I did, so many times before. Obviously it's played to be very romantic in a way, like, these two women kind of coming to the men in their lives for comfort, and it's played romantically, and it kind of feels icky at this point in my life, because while for Lorelai and Luke, it's kind of a nice moment because it's sort of a progression of their relationship where she's opening up to him, she's letting him see kind of her struggle. She's not, always the snappy dialogue, like fun, coffee shop girl, For Rory, it's very icky. It feels like Rory and Dean is being played the same way romantically, but it feels kind of sour. And like, it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. I don't love the trope of, girl goes to guy to get comfort and cries in his arms, and then that sort of leads to, or the viewer is supposed to see that leading to a romantic connection.
So they can't be friends?
Well,
no,
I mean,
they can be friends, but it's not. That's not what we're meant to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. Like, I totally get that. Like, I get like how a friend being there for a friend, but strictly speaking, from a narrative writing perspective, those scenes were designed to feel romantic.
Exactly.
They just were.
That we're supposed to see.
And so that's
totally.
interesting. I had not thought of that. That's super interesting because, yes, there are a lot of parallels there, but there's a big difference. The biggest difference is really in the actual progression of the two women's stories. One of them is a forward progression with the romance. The other one would be a backtracking, and for that reason, narratively, Rory's romantic part, like the romantic aspects on hers, feels weird.
But for Rory, though.
Right, that's really cool. Regina.
Yeah.
Regina?
I feel bad for like
pivoting the conversation a little bit, but like the only significant thing that I have to add to this conversation is like someone is like a college student's like experience of having to fail a class and being dangerously close to like failing others. So I wrote like a little spiel that I'm going to just say really quickly. So I go to a small university with a student population of 3,000 or so. And this past spring semester, really, I fell behind on 5 classes and was dangerously close to failing them. Really, I had to drop one because I was failing it like by midterms. And the professor for that course that I dropped never reached out to me. I had to reach out to them, in fact. None of my professors ever thought to look into my schedule to see why I was failing. In fact, I took 2 classes with my academic advisor and never did my academic advisor ever think to look up my schedule and point out that my class load was too much or if I was failing these courses. Professors do care if you're failing their course, but most of the time, and in my instance, they ask you what happened to lead you to that point in time. If anything, the professor could ask how many credit hours you're taking and then gauge the conversation from there and help you. So I just wanted to say, like, this long spiel is to say that I agree with Mary. It was totally invasive for the professor to go into Rory's schedule and say, hey, I think your class load is a little bit too much. You know, I don't think it was really his place. So that's what I want to say.
Can I just follow up on that? Of course, a professor can go into the schedule. The reason I say it's inappropriate is when he did it, and then he cast it off to the side. So he marked her paper. He thought it was a D. He had a concern. He went into her schedule. He felt like it was too much, and then nothing. Like if she was expected to go and be praised, if it was really out of concern, why don't you reach out to the student and say, come and see me, we have something to discuss?
Right.
So me, what I read was curiosity.
Yeah, now I get it. Now I get it. It's sort of like, exactly, it feels less about like that he was actually doing it trying to help her and more like he was just like, why is this student, you know, failing my class? Let me look, oh yeah, it's that overload thing, interesting.
Yeah, because professors don't really care, they just care about your grades.
Right. Okay. You know what? I know that we have more to talk about here, but we're 4 minutes over.